Hello everyone, just want to give you an update on this, um, that the wiring, what I thought worked, I couldn't tell during the day because I just saw the lights blinking, and that's kind of what I saw, but gave it a test run at night, just want to make sure, and if you had it the way I did, it won't quite work. Um, what's really needed is this is the wire I pigtailed. Of course, you don't even need this at all. So just disregard that. I'm going to take it off. Um, actually, I'll go ahead and take off the component here. Hold on. So let's see here. But basically, the brown wire goes into the yellow wire on this side. The other side over there, the brown wire would go into the green wire, and then you would leave the brown wire uh, as is. Of course, Manuel told me the opposite, so that's why I kind of did it that way. But I guess it was a good way to do it because after I see it didn't work, I had to do a lot of trial and error on this, in which, for example, here, as you see, if you see my previous episode, was connected to here, and then I wired it. Well, you don't really need this, it turns out. I was just me thinking about something. I was just giving it a shot. But anyways, after a lot of trial and error, anyway, I guess it was good. It was good that I pigtailed everything because I moved the brown to the brown. I moved, I even added this in, did different combinations of which because I pigtailed it for the most part. And through trial and error, I finally got it to work where this is the best scenario right here. The brown going into the colored wire, the yellow or the green, whichever side you're on, and then the brown wire, it's coated brown here on the back side here. You don't even touch, you just let it go. And what it does is when you brake, when you have a turn signal, it turns on. I can't get it to go when I turn my lights on. That's the only thing I can't get it to do. I tried different combinations of the wiring, and it just doesn't work. What would happen was if I had when I made a turn signal on my truck as well, it would both the taillights would go on, and both these would go on. All the lights would go on. One side being a little brighter than the other, so that was the problem, and it didn't break, it didn't do anything. That's kind of what it did. The back worked when you turn the lights on and when you put your brakes on, but this didn't do anything of that sort. So doing the wiring this way is, in my opinion, probably the best way to do it. So let me great. Just trying to show you guys this, and it's giving me grief. So there we go. Okay, so there it is. So there's the wiring setup that I did, and so you don't even need this. I pigtailed this here thinking that it needs to complete a circuit, but it doesn't. So that's just me trying to think, but oh well. Anyways, that's all it is, and the brown goes into the yellow wire, or the other side would be the green, and then the brown wire just continues on. The manual says the opposite, so that's kind of where things get a little screwy. So this is the way to do it. Just want to show you that so you guys don't run into the same problem I did. I'll still put the plywood on. I guess there's going to be a fifth episode, I guess, if you want to see it. I'll put it up there, but for the most part it's done. And so this is kind of what it looks like here, and of course I taped it off, and it looks, I like the wire coming from the bottom because it just it looks a lot cleaner that way. And I'm gonna get a clip here. I have some extra clips left over. Get a clip and just clip this here, and that way this could be hidden from view, and that's pretty much all you'll see. So it looks a little cleaner, but for the most part it works. I tested it at night, and that's the best way it's gonna work. So just want to give you that update on that, because manual is, well, just does not work. Tells you the wrong thing to do. And this is how you would keep the light. This is part of the light fixture that holds the light in place in here. This is probably what you want to do. You want the screw to go in here and then screw it on. That way the light doesn't just jiggle around. It could stay here. So this goes, well, you'll see it when you open this up. But anyways, let me cut out, and next thing you'll see is some plywood on this thing. Bye now. Alright everyone, that's what it looks like. All done. The wires are, yeah, there you go. The wires coming from the bottom, so it's out of view and out of the way. Everything taped, electrical tape. So yeah, it's starting to look good. So last thing I got to do here is for the most part just electrical tape this, and should be good. Just go ahead and unscrew these, unwind it, tape it, wind it back up, screw them back in. That's for the most part what you do. So this is a little bit longer here, but same idea. And that's a good way to tighten the wires if they're kind of loose. Good way to get them tight so they don't flop around. As you can see, some of the wiring in here. You won't be able to see any of this, of course. So I did eventually use all the clips. So anyways, just keeping you all up to date on this. So hopefully I'll get the plywood on soon enough. Well, there you go. Wiring's done. So that's that side, and that's that side. Just trying to cover the nuts here. So, and yeah, everything looks great. So, all right. Next step is the plywood. So that's all I got to do next. All right, everyone. Here you go. I did this yesterday, but so total 4 days it took me. It really take me another day because I didn't count the bolts correctly, so I came up a little short. For example, here there's a bolt here, there, over there, and then of course you got your two over here. But I forgot the ones in the cross member here. So I got the holes pre-drilled, so they're good to go. So because of that, I came up short and totally miscounted. I don't know what I was thinking. Originally I was counting the perimeter, but even then I came up short 1, 2, 3, 4. Came up short 4 bolts anyways. So anyways, doesn't matter. I'll get it right, you know. And just a little tip on this. In the manual says, you know, cut the plywood in half. Well, I didn't want to cut the plywood in half. I wanted one plywood because I thought that was more rigid, more sturdy. That'd be the better way to go. But I found when I was laying this that the frame is not square. and it's still not square, but at least if I cut it in half, it's more manageable, because it, it'd be square down here, then it would be like it wouldn't even reach the hole for the bolts on this end, because if you can see how much of a this side has a larger gap compared to this side, and so even then it's still I still have to cut this a little bit to meet the edge. So yeah, I do still have to do some trimming, but overall, I mean, I think it can be used just like this if I wanted to. So let me see if I can back up, get you a better view, like in this direction. Yeah, there you go. So there you go. Done complete the wiring works. As I mentioned above, the wiring here. Originally I had it wrong, but because I pigtailed everything, I was able to play around with the wiring to find out what it needs to be. And again, the brown wiring coming out of here goes to the green wire, and you don't have to touch the brown wire at all. Let that go through, and that's what needs to be connected to make it work. Or you could just pigtail it like I did, and you know, play around with it. On the other side, of course, it's the yellow wire. Of course, I wired it to come all over here, but the other side would be the yellow wire. This side would be the green wire. And so everything's in. Tires require 80 psi. I don't have a gauge that goes up to 80 psi, so I'm gonna have to check it. I think I do have one. But I don't know where it is. I'm gonna have to look in my garage. I have one of those electronic tire pressure gauges. It may need some new batteries in it. It's over 10 years old, but I just gotta look for it. So you know, just to recap, what you might want to do if you want one piece of plywood, and I don't know if this is possible because there's so many nuts and bolts on this, is while you're building this, take a square and make sure the cross members at the ends, and this end here is square to the sides. The sides are gonna be straight because of this piece right here that joins the two pieces, the two frames. But yeah, it wouldn't hurt to square it up before you tighten everything. I'm kind of late at this stage to do all that. It would just require me to undo all of this, and that's a lot of work. So, but any of you guys who are gonna build this, just foresight, square it up, and then you can use one piece of plywood. If it doesn't work out for you, yeah, just cut it in the middle like I did, just a circular saw, and just try to make it as even as possible. As you see, it's not quite even, and basically it's not, because my frame on this is not quite square. And so this was quite a challenge, because I couldn't get my sockets in there. I used basically 2-inch bolts, because this plywood's not flat. You know, you have to push down on it, and you know, when you're by yourself trying to push down onto a carriage bolt, there's nothing here. I use carriage bolt, lock washer, and just a regular bolt, and you know, just getting the holes straight into where the holes are in the frame. That's quite a challenge as well. So what I did was I put it down, and then this is so much easier if you do that, because trying to measure, I try to measure it from the top, trying to figure out where the hole was. It's a little difficult. Just go ahead and put it on, and when you get down under, which I guess I can do here, when you get down under, there you go.
when you get down under, the holes are, okay, let's see if well, it's kind of dark. There we go. Those are the bolts right there, the 2-inch carriage bolts. Um, just put the board down, and then wherever the holes are, take a marker and mark them, and then flip it over. Flip it over, and then you'll get little marks, right? This is one I did from the top because I forgot, but anyways, um, what you want to do is take a smaller drill. Not this is a 3/8 drill. What you want to do is take a smaller drill and drill little, I guess, pilot holes, and see if it goes through and goes into the hole. It's if you miss, you can drill another small hole and just find your way through the hole for the bolt. Because if you do a 3/8 hole and you miss, and you try to, and you're only like a quarter of an inch off, and you try to drill another, it's hard because it's not going to work. It's just too big of a hole to do that. If you do smaller holes, you could be off, and then you can move a quarter of an inch. It has to be a really small drill, um, and if you're off, you can move it and still make a good hole, and then that's your pilot hole. You just have to make sure you circle the pilot hole with a marker, so you don't mark the wrong, you don't drill, and then you don't drill the wrong pilot hole. And then take your 3/8 and then drill through there, and the 3/8 should eat up the other small missed pilot hole that you did. And it's so much easier doing that way than what I was trying to do originally, was measure, and some of the bolts I didn't get right, and we had to pound it through, and that's not, I guess for some people it's fun, but not for me. But that's the setup here, and well, there you go, completed. Hope you all enjoyed this. I know this is a long episode, and but I did cut in, cut out to make it a little bit shorter. But that's what it looks like, everyone. And if you can really do this in 2 days, if you just had a good idea what to do with this, what to expect, so you can plan it out. I would recommend that when you build this thing, go ahead and flip it over and do everything you can with it, the axles, the bearings, and everything. Um, what I ended up doing was I did all that except for the wheels and the bearings, because I knew if I put those on, it's too heavy. So if you have another person to come by and just help you, just flip it over right side up, um, you'll probably be much better off. That save you some time. And then the wiring, that ate up a lot of my time trying to figure that out. Other than that, you could do it in 2 days. It'd be a weekend job. It took me 4, maybe 5 days if I include today. Um, but like I said, I was interrupted. I had to help people out fixing their car. Um, looking for my tools to give to them to loan out and everything. Um, but yeah. Anyways, feel free to comment, like, dislike, or even do your own video response to this. So stay tuned, everyone, for the next episode, and see y'all later. Bye.